Hello friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kaylee and this is Foodie Friday. Before we get into this week's sweet treat, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. So it is week 2 of my Summer Stunners series, and this week we're going to be making lemon bars. I grew up in the South, and so lemon bars were a staple at any church potluck, backyard get together, you name it, a lemon bar was there. And although lemon bars are super delicious and probably one of my favorite desserts, they're packed full of unhealthy processed sugar. So this week we're going to be putting a healthy twist, removing the processed sugar, adding a natural source of sweetener, and creating a super delicious, chewy, tart, yummy, summery dessert that you can feel good about eating. As always, this recipe was created with healthier ingredients. I created this recipe to be gluten-free, paleo-friendly, nut-free, and ultra delicious. So without further ado, let's get to baking. All right, foodies, so to start this recipe off, we're going to be making our crust. So all you're going to need is 1/3 cup of sustainable palm shortening or coconut oil. You'll want this to be room temperature, and we're going to add this into a medium bowl. The reason you want this to be room temperature or like softened butter is you want it to cream together really well with your honey. So we're going to be adding in 1/4 cup of raw honey. I would always encourage you to support your local bee harvesters and use local honey. That's what I'm using here from a farmer's market that we have in town. It just tastes that much better. So add this into your mixing bowl. We're going to mix with a hand whisk or hand mixer. If you don't have a hand mixer or a stand mixer, you can always whisk this by hand and get a really good arm workout in. So whisk these 2 ingredients together until smooth and creamy. You want to make sure there's no lumps. If you need to, you can always pop this mixture in the microwave for about 15 seconds to loosen up that palm shortening or coconut oil, and it will cream together really well. Once you have your base mixed together, we'll add in our dry ingredients. And for our dry ingredients, we're using 2/3 cup of coconut flour. Be sure to measure this. Don't pack in the flour because coconut flour is very absorbent and you don't want a dry crust. And then we're going to be adding 1/4 cup of tapioca flour, and then we'll be adding some lemon zest. So I usually do the zest from like 1/2 of a lemon in the crust. We're going to be using more zest and fresh lemon juice in the top of the bar. So just do 1/2 of a lemon zested into this, and then once you have that zested, we will mix these together until a dough forms. I do want to apologize for the glared video. I had no idea that that was even occurring when I was making this. We had such an overcast day, so I have a light ring out helping me get this footage filmed, and I didn't even notice that it was glared until editing. So I apologize. The rest of the video should be good to go, and there shouldn't be any issues, but I just wanted to make a note of that. Also, I want to make a note that we are using an all-natural source of sweetener. So there is 0 refined sugar in this, meaning we don't have any white processed sugar or anything that is made in a chemical plant as far as sweetener goes. However, this recipe does have sugar in it because honey is a source of sugar. It's just more natural sugar. So I did want to make a note of that just because I know I might get a comment below because the description box and the title of this says 0 refined sugar. That is a true statement. However, this recipe does have some honey, but it's just a natural form of sweetener, which is better for you in the long run. Now that our dough has formed, it's time to press this in the bottom of our pan. We're going to be using an 8x8 baking dish. I would highly recommend to grease this dish as well as using some parchment paper. This will just help you pull the crust and the bars out after they have set. So please, 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 I say this all the time, use parchment paper. I promise you it will be your best friend, and it will help keep your bars really nice and pretty when you pull them out of the pan after baking. So once you have your dough in the bottom of your pan, you're just going to be using your hands. And we're going to press this down into one even layer. Once you have the dough in one even layer, we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. While the crust is baking, we're going to make the filling. So we're going to be using 3 large eggs plus 1 egg yolk, and we're going to add this into a large bowl. We're going to also have the zest from 1 whole lemon. We'll add that in, and then we also have another 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon of raw
honey. So we're gonna add this together, and then we also have some lemon juice that we are going to be adding. Be sure to use fresh squeezed lemon juice. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you use the stuff that's already pre-made, it's gonna taste like it. So use 1/2 cup of fresh squeezed lemon juice, add this to your bowl, and then we're going to be using 1 tablespoon of tapioca flour and 1/2 teaspoon of coconut flour. These are key in order to stabilize our filling or the top part of our lemon bar. So we're going to be using a hand mixer again or a whisk, and we're going to whisk these together until well combined. Once your crust comes out of the oven, be sure to turn your oven down to 325 degrees. We're going to pour our top of our lemon bar on top of the crust that we baked, and we're going to throw this back in our oven at 325 degrees for 15 to 18 minutes. And then once you pull this out of the oven, you'll allow this to set in your refrigerator for 2 hours or overnight.
Once your lemon bars come out of the oven, be sure to allow them ample time to cool. I would usually suggest putting them in your refrigerator for about 2 hours to fully set. I'm gonna put mine in the fridge overnight. That way I can slice them up and we can pack them and take them to the beach this weekend. As always, you can get full recipe details in the description box below. If you haven't already done so, be sure to follow me on Instagram at MeasureMeWhole. I usually post what the recipe is before Friday, as well as drop some teasers and share any kind of YouTube schedule changes that could occur. If you enjoyed this week's video, please be sure to give it a like, as well as subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a recipe. I look forward to getting together next week where we cook another nutritious and delicious dish. All right, you guys, see you next time.